Today we're going to be talking about sleep. Everyone has to have sleep, and it's something that is um, beloved and necessary for us to function. Most sleep patterns are based off of the circadian rhythm, which is basically our body's natural biological clock. It tells us when we have to go to bed and when we have to wake up. And this is why later in the day certain people feel groggy, like they have to fall asleep, and others are awake and energized even though it's 11 o'clock at night. We actually have names for these. It's people who wake up early in the morning are referred to larks, while those who feel like they can stay up all night are referred to night owls. Um, but more importantly, we're going to talk today about the different cycles that you go through while you sleep. Um, the average sleep cycle lasts for about 90 minutes, and it's broken down into different sections. Um, Mostly they're referred to as N1, N2, N3, and REM sleep. First, when you go to bed, you're sitting there with your eyes closed, and you go through a period called the alpha wave stage. And this is basically when you're still in bed with your eyes closed, but you're not fully or asleep at that point, and basically on the graph, when they do a brain scan, you have rapid sawtooth-like waves. And then at that point you slip into NREM1 sleep, and that is where most people feel like they're falling while they're sleeping, and they have immense imagery and hallucinations, and it's characterized by irregular brain waves on the graph. And from that point you go into N2 or NREM2 sleep, which is characterized by sleep spindles on the graph, and you're asleep but you're still easily awakened at this point, and it lasts about 20 minutes. From that point you go into NREM3 sleep. That is where you have the large, slow delta waves. It's hard to be awakened when you're in that state, and it's most commonly referred to as a deep sleep, and that period lasts for about 30 minutes. And then you transition into what is known as REM sleep, or rapid eye movement sleep. That is probably the most famous stage of sleep, and that's where your eyes rapidly move back and forth. And that is also the period in your sleep when you dream. It's characterized by a high heart rate, irregular breathing, eye movement, and, like I said, dreams. From that period, you kind of go back and forth between N2 and REM sleep during your entire night of sleep, and it's surprising, but you actually spend roughly only about 100 minutes per night during a full night's sleep, actually experiencing REM sleep. While you sleep, many things actually happen to your body. While you remain mainly motionless due to the fact that your brain omits signals from your brainstem while you're sleeping, you are basically paralyzed during your sleep, and you do not move. Sleep is also unique and is necessary because during our sleep, we actually take the day's memories and transition them into permanent memories. That's mostly because of the hippocampus. And during sleep, the body actually activates the pituitary gland, which releases a human growth hormone, which causes our body to develop and grow during our sleep. That's why people such as athletes need well-rested sleep so they can have more energy, faster reaction times, and recuperate faster after injuries. Having a full night's sleep actually improves creative thinking and overall general well-being, as you'll be more rested, your mind will be ready to go for the next day. Sleep is also important because without it, people will tend to gain weight. It decreases metabolic energy and energy use. It also increases the amount of the stress hormone called cortisol, which actually also stimulates the body to make fat. But the fact is, without sleep, your limbic response is increased, and children who sleep less tend to gain more weight due to this. Despite sleep being so important to us, a lot of people actually suffer some sleep disorders, such as insomnia, where someone just can't fall asleep, or sleep apnea, while during their sleep they can't breathe or they stop breathing for short periods, or people who sleepwalk, or people who sleep talk. They're unable to control their bodies and they get up and move or say things during their sleep. People who suffer from night terrors, who are unable to control themselves and have horrible dreams, and are terrified and wake up screaming and crying. Also, people who suffer from narcolepsy, they fall asleep randomly, which can be actually dangerous, because if someone was driving, you would just fall asleep and possibly hit something. While we sleep, though, we actually have our brains working in the background that still listen to outside stimuli, such as sound and things such as parents while they're sleeping hearing their child's scream or cry out in the night wakes them up from a deep sleep, while something normally that they would hear, like traffic passing by, would not normally wake them up. It's crazy to think that we spend a great majority of our life asleep and roughly about 6 years dreaming. Sleep makes up a large part of our life, and that's why we have to understand how sleep works and do our best to get as much sleep as we can. Sleep is necessary for everyone. People may be able to get by with little amounts of sleep, or other people require more sleep. But there is no set amount of how much sleep people should have. But they should, do what's best for their bodies and get as much sleep as they possibly can, and not put sleep off, as a lot of students do during college. They stay up at crazy times during the night and then try to do everything the next day, which actually, after you are deprived of sleep for so long, it's the equivalency of being drunk, which makes sleep quite important for you if you're planning to do anything rigorous, such as testing or driving, or anything that requires movement, or safety, as you don't want to make a mistake that could be deadly or cause you to fail your test. Dreams are probably the most notable thing we think of about sleep, but we really don't understand why we dream. Perhaps it's to satisfy our own wishes or to develop new neural pathways. But we all know that we have dreams, may they be good or bad, but they most likely or most often reflect something in our life, or something that occurred, or something we're thinking or feeling, but we don't understand exactly 100% why they occur. Many theories on why we dream, such as Freud's wish fulfillment theory, or the information processing theory, the psychological function theory, the activation synthesis theory, or the cognitive development theory. All those believe in different ways or purposes that dreams serve for us. Like I said earlier, for fulfilling a wish, or to develop cognitively, or to process information from during the day. Dreams occur during REM sleep, which are part of our sleep cycle, which makes them a very important part of today's video topic. Next, we'll be looking at Chapter 3.